Dillian the Body Snatcher right here. It's a champ. Big up to Sporting Icon. Subscribe. Otherwise, I might pay you guys a visit.
All right, I hope you're all doing fantastic and, of course, had a great weekend. Monday morning, back to the grind. Treat yourself. A Monday treat. Click that subscribe button. You'll love it. Now, the internet world, or the boxing world here on the internet, seems to be going into a little bit of a meltdown with stories going on about Anthony Joshua set to accept £15 million to step aside, with Dillian Whyte £5 million to step aside to allow Tyson Fury versus Oleksandr Usyk for undisputed. Now, of course, what I was told a couple of days ago, does it go in line with it? Hey, listen, what I was told a couple of days ago, and it's not from a guy down the pub or anything like that, it's directly from somebody who would 100% know what's going on. Does it fall in line with that? Listen, at the end of the day, I mean, what I will say on this particular thing is just wait a couple more days on that. But listen, nothing's ever set in stone until the ink is dried on the paper. Okay, so I suppose that's one way of looking at it. So would this story fall in line? Maybe. So, but either way, we're going to treat this particular story, this step-aside story, as legit. Okay, so let's just say Anthony Joshua took the 5 million, Dillian Whyte, Joshua took the 15 million and Dillian Whyte took the 5 million to allow Fury versus Usyk step aside. Now, I suppose one thing I have to question to both Joshua and Dillian Whyte is, well, if Tyson Fury wins that, which personally I would favour him to do so based on styles, do you trust Tyson Fury to honour any kind of contract that you have to go fight the winner? Do you? Tyson Fury has form for not honouring contracts. He has form for it. He did it with Vladimir Klitschko. And he tried to do it with Wilder, didn't he? So do you really trust him, especially as he's got one fight left on his ESPN Top Rank deal? This would be, if Tyson Fury versus Oleksandr Usyk was to happen, this will be his final fight. If he beats Usyk, do you think he won't just go, I'm undisputed, I've proved I'm the best, see you later, vacate all the belts and go off and retire? Because when you retire, you can't be hit with lawsuits. If you try to go fight somebody else, yeah, okay, you can be hit with lawsuits, but retirement seems to make contracts null and void. He could cite injury, anything, okay? So do you trust Tyson Fury? This is to Joshua and Dillian Whyte. Do you trust Tyson Fury to honour any kind of contract that's put there? You'll be off your damn mind if you really believe any kind of contract that you could potentially have with Tyson Fury if he was to beat Oleksandr Usyk. And it is a big if. Anyway, will I be disappointed in Joshua? Will I be disappointed in Dillian Whyte? Yes, I personally would be disappointed. I know people will go, but it's undisputed. It's Tyson Fury versus Oleksandr Usyk. You're a boxing fan. Surely you want undisputed, yada, yada, yada. Now, don't get me wrong, these same people weren't holding that energy when Tyson Fury ducked Anthony Joshua for undisputed. And let's be honest, he did. He could have paid Wilder the step aside. Unless, of course, you're saying Tyson Fury lied that Wilder wanted step aside money. Either way. When it comes to this one, undisputed, I think people hide behind it because it's the right thing to say. Now, this is not a new story. The 15 million for Joshua and the 5 million for Dillian Whyte. I said this in a video, 2-3 days ago? It wasn't about that particular step aside, but of course I did say that those were the numbers that were being thrown around. And of course, everybody today, the internet world, is pointing towards the Telegraph like they've just broke that story. This is not something new. But I would be disappointed in both Joshua and Dillian Whyte. I would. For different reasons. Firstly, Anthony Joshua, why would I be disappointed in him? Because he's been talking about how he's a throwback fighter now and all this kind of stuff, and it's all about the legacy. I don't care about the money and all this kind of yada, yada, yada. I want Oleksandr Usyk, and I'm going to smash him up. I want revenge. I ain't going to let him get away with that. These are the kind of things that Joshua has been saying recently. So if he was to take 15 million to step aside, 15 million is a lot of money. Of course it's a lot of money. To you and me, this is life-changing. To Joshua, is 15 million a lot of money? Yeah. But with the kind of purses that he's been getting each and every fight, 15 million, not really. And yeah, it does sound a little bit strange to say 15 million and a lot of money. But to Joshua, it probably ain't. So why would you be willing to take 15 million to step aside? If you're a throwback fighter, forget about the belts, forget about the money. And by the way, if he was to fight Usyk in the rematch, his purse would be a lot more than 15 million. I can tell you that much. But surely you want to beat the man who beat you. Don't get me wrong, the belts are nice, the money's nice. Of course, it's all like a bonus on top. But surely, much like when Anthony Joshua lost to Andy Ruiz Jr., when he defeated him in the rematch, then suddenly he has then defeated every man that he's ever faced. Currently, you can't say that anymore because Usyk has a win over you. You haven't got revenge. You haven't. And all these people who dislike Anthony Joshua and try to discredit him in every kind of way, as much as they're saying, yeah, you know what, it's the right thing that Anthony Joshua should take the 50 million step aside and allow us for undisputed. It ain't that. It's that they will then, if all this was to be agreed, they will then turn out Anthony Joshua and say, see, he ducked Oleksandr Usyk, he's a coward. Now Tyson Fury, he's the real man. He's man enough to go fight Usyk, no problem. Joshua bottled it. And thus proving Tyson Fury correct in some ways, where Tyson Fury says Anthony Joshua is not a Spartan. He's a businessman. And at the end of the day, of course, it is about his family's future and all that kind of thing. But 15 million to pretty much, put your legacy down the toilet in some ways because you didn't want to fight in the rematch. Win, lose or draw, you've got this rematch clause. And I know people are going on about, there shouldn't be a rematch clause because Usyk was mandatory. Okay, that's fine. There shouldn't have been a rematch clause with Fury and Wilder either, as the WBC changed Tyson Fury to the mandatory challenger. Did he not? But yet there was a rematch clause there. Why are these very same people not kicking off? Oh, because it's Joshua. Yeah, of course, I understand. But either way, there was a contract for a rematch. There is one. Usyk accepted it. He didn't have to accept it, but he did. Why? Because he probably got a little bit more money. But if you're Joshua, surely you look at Usyk and think, I want revenge on this sucker. I ain't going to let you get away with that. I don't care about the money. I don't care about the belts right now. It's all a bonus. I want your head on my platter. I'm going to take it off. If you're a throwback fighter, that's what you do. When it comes to Dillian Whyte, you've been waiting all this time, mate, for a world title shot at the WBC. It's there. Regardless of how much money it is, whether it's going to be 80-20 split, whether it's going to be a 25% split, whether it's going to be a 5 million guarantee, whatever the money is, of course, as I said before, it is a business. And yes, Dillian Whyte deserves respect and should get the correct split. Of course he should. But ultimately, it's also about getting the world title shot. 5 million is nice money to step aside. I'm not saying it isn't. But there it is. There's your world title shot. Forget business and all that kind of thing. Business will come later if you defeat Fury. And this will go for Dillian Whyte and Anthony Joshua. Surely you want to be the one to be fighting for undisputed, as in walk into the ring as champion and the winner comes out as undisputed. Surely you want that. Why would you allow Fury and Usyk to go do that? Why? It doesn't make any sense. Financially, yes, of course, it makes sense. Maybe Dillian Whyte will fight Tyson Fury. Tyson Fury will bludgeon him. We don't know. Take Dillian Whyte to school and knock him out cold. We don't know. Or maybe Dillian Whyte bludgeons Tyson Fury, lands that left hook. However, knocks out Tyson Fury. He then holds the WBC in the ring. Then he goes into the undisputed fight. You just don't know, do you? You don't know. Yes, it's a risk. Of course it's a risk. Same with Anthony Joshua. What if he was to fight Usyk and just get absolutely done? Okay, cool. Now, people may say, well, Fury go fight Usyk for undisputed and Joshua, he'll fight the winner. Because, again, that's what the reports are saying, that Joshua will then fight the winner. Well, but why does Joshua have to fight the winner? Why doesn't Dillian Whyte fight the winner? And if Dillian Whyte does fight the winner and Joshua doesn't, why? So people will naturally say, okay, well, maybe Anthony Joshua versus Dillian Whyte. The rematch. Brilliant fight, right? Okay, a lot of people would love to see that fight. Probably more so here in the UK than Fury versus Usyk, let's be honest. But then the winner go fight for undisputed. Okay, but that means one of you fellas are going to take a loss. One of you will. Joshua versus Dillian Whyte, part 2. One of you ain't getting that world title shot next. Why would you risk it? Go back on to Anthony Joshua and Tyson Fury. When it comes to Tyson Fury, outside of trusting him to honour any kind of contract that you may have with him, he's already proved difficult in negotiations. I'm undisputed after defeated Oleksandr Usyk. Joshua, you probably deserve about 10% of this because you're not bringing anything to the party. You're not bringing any kind of belts. I don't care about your pay-per-view status. I'm undisputed. I'm the pay-per-view superstar. Even in reality, it wouldn't be, but Fury can go along with that narrative. He's already proven difficult with Dillian Whyte. He could then say Dillian Whyte, because currently it's all about the 80-20. Well, again, I've got all the belts now. I'm undisputed. Dillian, 5%. Take it or leave it. These are the kind of things that Tyson Fury would do. I wouldn't trust Tyson Fury as far as I could throw him. And I couldn't throw him even an inch. I wouldn't trust him. I really wouldn't. So if you're Dillian Whyte and Anthony Joshua, would you take step-aside money? Financially, sure. Get paid well for doing nothing? Sure. But at this stage, shouldn't it be about legacy? Dillian Whyte's waited for so long. Why would you want to wait another year or so? Why would you want to stand behind Joshua? Why would you want to go fight Joshua and risk maybe losing to Joshua? If you're Anthony Joshua, surely you want revenge on Oleksandr Usyk. You go fight Dillian Whyte. What if you lose to Dillian Whyte? I suppose it's all about risk and reward and whatever else. Anyway, as I said before, there is something going on. There is something going on. I'm not going to talk about that. Obviously, it's not my place to talk about it. But could this story fall in line? Maybe. Have to wait and see. Drop your thoughts below. Click thumbs up. Subscribe. And I'll catch you on the next video.